Lesson 44, Part 2, Scale Factor of Maps. Speaking of scale factor, let's see how these work on maps. Go ahead and get your notes ready. Push play when you're ready to begin. And because this is so similar to what we've been doing, and I think you'll pick it up easily, we're just going to do one we do and one you do, and we'll see how you do. There's a lot of writing in this too because they're going to be in word problem format, so that's the other reason I just want to do one we do, one you do, and I think you'll have it. So, on a map, I measured 5 centimeters from Narnia to Hogwarts. The scale factor of the map is 2 centimeters equals 155 miles. How far is it between Narnia and Hogwarts? Go ahead and copy that into your notes. Push play when you've got it copied, and I'll walk you through how to do this. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is take this scale factor. This is just like when we were doing the proportions, just like when we were doing the scale factors in the previous lesson for the models. We're going to take this scale factor as sort of like the key of unlocking the math on this question. So we have 2 centimeters to 155 mile ratio. So that's our first handlebar in our proportions ratio handlebar math. So we take this information, 2 centimeters equals 155 miles, and we put it there as our scale factor for our math. Now, this is really important to remember, and this will help you for a lot of these types of questions, and we're going to come across a lot. If centimeters is on the second floor, the top floor of the building, if this ratio is a building, then centimeters needs to stay on the top floor over here. So whatever label you have here stays on the top floor. So in this case it's centimeters, so we're going to put centimeters. And down here we have miles as our label on the bottom floor. So if miles is the label on the bottom floor, then miles needs to stay the label. So always keep your labels on the same floor as one another. Don't let them cross upward or across. This is miles, this is miles. This is centimeter, this is centimeter. Whatever floor this is on, he stays on that floor. Very, very important to remember. Okay, so once that's done, all we need to do is look into the problem. I measured 5 centimeters on the map from Narnia to Hogwarts. So I have this information in centimeters, which is here, so I put my 5 there. And we want to know how far it is for real between Narnia and Hogwarts. So we're trying to find out how many miles. And we don't know, so when we don't know, we put X. Once you're here and once you have everything set up, the labels are here to help you set that up. But once it's set up, you can kind of just ignore them for a moment. So let's ignore them for a moment and let's do the math. Multiply the crosses. 2 times X is 2X. And 155 times 5, I don't know off the top of my head. So little baby bites, 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 5 is 25 plus 2 is 27. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 2 is 7, is 775. And I'm nearly done. You recognize where I'm at here. Here is my ocean. Here's my variable. Times 2 is happening, so I'm going to divide 2 to get it to go away. That leaves me with X. And I just need to do my division here, 2 into 775. I know it's not going to go evenly. I know I'm going to have a decimal or fraction over here, however I want to put it. 2 fits into 7 3 times. 7 subtract 6 is 1, bring down the 7. 2 fits into 17 8 times. 1 left over. 2 fits into 15 7 times. That gives me 14 with 1 left over, and 1 is the numerator, 2 denominator. You can put 387 and 1/2 miles. And I know that the label is miles because I was looking for X. This number represents X, and X is in miles. So that's how you know which label to use. You also could have put that answer, by now you've got it stuck in your head pretty well, that 1/2 is the same as 0.5. So some of you might have continued the division, brought down a decimal and a lifesaver, and it would have been 2 into 10, which would have been 0.5. So 387.5, both meaning the same thing. 387.5 is 387.5. So that's how you do scale factors on maps. Sometimes they'll say on the map that 3 centimeters equals 12 miles or whatever. That's your scale ratio. And then you use that as the key to solve the rest of the problem, how far something is. So let's have a look at a you-do. All right, so here's the you-do. Here's your chance to see if you understand how to do this or not. Make sure to try it, though. Don't just let me walk you through it. Make sure to stop, try it, see how you do. So it says, on a map, I measured 32 centimeters from Rome to Olympus. The scale factor of the map is 2 centimeters equals 245 miles. How far was it from Rome to Olympus in miles? Do your best to get that set up and push play once you have it set up and check it before you do the rest of the math. All right, let's see what kind of a setup you have. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my scale factor. And my scale factor for the map is 2 centimeters equals 245 miles. So I will put 2 centimeters, and I put the labels there to make sure I keep things in the right places, equals 245 miles. All right, and then I carry those labels across and keep them on the same level that they were before. That says miles. Goodness, that looks terrible. Let's try that again. Miles. All right, and now I take a look at the information I know. I measured 32 centimeters, and centimeters is here, from Rome to Olympus. So if centimeters is here, that's where I'm putting the 32. Let me get the pen for that. Looks better that way. And what I'd like to know is how many miles it is from Olympus to Rome. So how many miles is my question? X amount of miles. That's what I'm trying to find out. So now that it's on the proportions line, check and make sure you have that. And once you have that adjusted, pause the video and solve the math and see how you do. Push play when you have an answer. All right, so you must have some sort of an answer. Let's see what you got. Multiply the crosses again. At this point, the labels were there to help us get it set up. Now we can just ignore them and just look at the numbers. So we have 2 times x is 2x. And we have 245 times 32. That's going to be a big number. I made up these numbers, so I just made them up. So 245 times 32. 2 times 5 is 10. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. 2 times 2 is 4. Cross off, cross off, cross off. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 1 is 13. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. 9 plus 5 is 14. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 7 is 7,840 is what that should be, if I did my calculations correctly. And now all I have to do is, here's my ocean, here's my variable, multiply is happening. So I will divide the 2 away. And that is 2 into 7,840. Seems like a difficult thing to do, except that we're really good at doing that one bite at a time. 2 fits into 7 3 times. That gives me a 6. 2 times 3 is 6. 7 subtract 6 is 1. Bring down the 8. 2 fits into 18 9 times exactly, because 2 times 9 is 18. 0 left. Bring down the 4. 2 fits into 4 twice, because 2 times 2 is 4. Subtract, nothing left. But I do have to go to the end of the number, so I have to bring that 0 down. And 2 fits into 0 times, because 2 times 0 is 0. And I've hit the end of the number. So x, the distance from Rome to Olympus in miles, is 3,920. And again, if you wonder what label to put, just take a look at which label's hanging out with the variable, the one you're trying to solve. That's the label you're after. So that's what label we put. It's 3,920 miles, made up because I made these numbers up, from Rome to Olympus. So that's how you do this. If you were able to get your way through that, very good. Go get the closure questions because you're ready for that. If you need to review any part of this, feel free to rewind and listen to any piece of it again. And if that doesn't work, come see me. I'll walk you right through it.